Hey there, Titan fans. Welcome back to the Attack on Titan After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight, we are talking about Season 3, Episode 5, Reply. We are going to be discussing Erwin's quote-unquote trial, how Pixis is kind of savage, the nature of the press, Historia's family history, and, of course, plenty of predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Okay, but you're scary.
From executive producers Maria Menounos,
Right.
Kevin Undergaro.
I don't know what's happening, but that's okay. We're having a good time.
So, you were saying about my scary finger
Yes,
waggle?
your scary finger waggles when you announce the title is just one of my favorite things. Reply. What's your favorite scary movie?
See, I was thinking more like I had to say air quotes because our podcast listeners can't see me doing air quotes with my fingers. So it's important to say air quote unquote trial.
Yeah.
Or quote unquote everything about this episode.
I love hearing Japanese voice actors say coup d'etat. Like, they're better at French than they are at English, and I love it.
I like hearing Pixis say coup d'etat is like I think one of the highlights of this series to date.
Just get on a constant loop.
For
Coup
sure.
d'etat.
Well, anyway,
It's beautiful.
Hey there, Attack on Titan fans. Welcome back to our after show here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking about Season 3, Episode 5. Let's not waste any time. Let me introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, Veronica Valencia.
Hey guys.
To her left, Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. And to my left,
To her roundabout left,
Yes.
I'm Megan Salinas. Sadly, Alexis Torres could not be here. She's on trial right now, but don't worry, we're going to go and rescue her as soon as this after show is done.
that got dark.
She'll be fine, probably. She had a master plan to escape. But in the meantime, as we're all here for this show, we are going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTVTitan. Katie's got you guys covered on the live chat. And as always, before we get started, guys, our discussion for this episode, for this particular after show, is pertaining only to this episode of the anime. We are not going into what happens in the manga in future episodes. Please be cool. No spoilers in the chat or in the YouTube comments. Guys, please, please, please.
I'll cry.
Don't be that guy. Don't ruin the show for us.
More than one of you have spoiled me in the live chat. Y'all need to stop.
Yes. If you
I
guys-
will punt you. I have administrative rights.
If you guys do put spoilers, we are going to get a rhinestone murder cowboy to come after you and tell you what's what. So,
Gracious.
we're just dealing with extremes tonight.
There's a lot going on. I'm glad I'm on this side of the table.
We'll bedazzle a hat. We'll give it to Matthew Mercer, and we'll go pretty please.
And he's not the voice of Kenny.
I
in
know
this
he's
season.
not the voice of Kenny, but when you do cowboy voice, I immediately default to it's high noon.
There's nothing wrong with that. But, guys, long story short, just please be cool. Don't be that guy. Don't ruin the show for other people, because there are other people who are also manga blind, just like we are at this point. So please be very courteous. We'd really appreciate it. And now for the second bit of housekeeping, Veronica, I believe you have an announcement for us.
I do. Hey AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
So yeah, subscribe to this channel. You also get Voltron. You get the weekly anime show, which I believe is well into season 2 of My Hero Academia. You get Rooster Teeth reviews every week. You get South Park. I think we've got a pretty good animation channel
Got a lot of
going
good
here.
stuff.
We do. So yeah, guys, like, subscribe, ding, save a scout.
And speaking
a
of
scout.
Save a Scout, and speaking of pretty good animation channels, we have a giveaway this week.
We do.
We do.
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to wait until we talk about iTunes stuff?
Let's wait.
Let's wait. Okay. So yeah, guys.
I'm sure everyone's going to be like, what?
Yeah, we are doing a giveaway, so be sure to stick around. Don't skip the iTunes section this time around, guys, because you'll miss the details for that particular giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and dig into this episode. Guys, what did we think? Because I don't know about you, but I feel like so much freaking happened. It's almost a little difficult to unpack.
I'm just too afraid to be this happy right now in the
I know,
show.
right?
It's like, it's the show for the past 2 episodes has let me be happy, have some hope, and I just know something bad is coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't handle it.
They draw you in, and no, for me, the indication that this episode was really heavy is the fact that the commercial break happened 2/3 of the way through the episode. Like, it threw me how late it, 15 minutes in a 22-minute episode was when that nice little, here's a thing that we're teaching you, interstitial happened. And it was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, this entire episode has me super antsy, not because so much of like what was actually going on in the context of the episode, but because they were so victorious.
Yeah.
This was an unambiguous win for Erwin and the Scouts. And so I'm sitting here going like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like, like,
And will the shoe be Titan sized?
We can't have nice things in this show. There's no way it can be this easy. So I'm sitting here going like, okay, this is great. Everybody's really happy, and this is a great celebratory moment. However, I'm sitting here going like, something bad's gonna happen. We're not allowed to be happy for too long.
This is a Pyrrhic victory sort of show. And the fact that this was not one, it's like, oh, there's going to be consequences. I don't know what they're going to be, but there's going to be consequences.
Victory is basically, you can summarize every positive thing in this series with Pyrrhic victory, for sure.
Yep.
So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the quote unquote trial for a little bit, because I don't know about you guys, but at the end of the last episode, when they started this whole thing by saying out, hey, do you have any last words? I was not particularly optimistic about Erwin's fate in this episode.
A part of me wanted to be, but I was like, the show has trained you to not be. But a part of me really wanted to be, because I like just how much he's been shined in like this season, because he's the one putting himself out there. I mean, all the scouts are basically on the run, but he's being the face. He's the one getting all of the bad stuff thrown on him.
Yes, they're basically counting on him. The fate of the entire regiment rests with him. If he can't pull this off, they're all goners.
Well, like I said last week, I think we were all expecting him to die because we had that shock already last season. And then he managed to survive. It's like, oh, buddy, you got a Final Destination thing going on here. A Titan took you and you survived. So death is coming. So I feel like I at least made my peace. Like, all right, he's marked. He's got death flags all over him. If it happens, then it's going to happen. I'm prepared. What just happened? What is this? Because it's like, yeah, it's your hearing. Like, you just asked him for his last words. Well, we're hearing his last words. We've already built like a 3-story scaffold for his execution.
As the trial is going on, they're in the middle of building the biggest gallows, like so that everyone in town can see.
Don't even try and act like you're gonna give this guy a fair trial. Like, he was made up when he went in there.
No, they just want to sweep it under the rug. And what I found interesting was that, like, they knew they had zero evidence on him when it actually came to the Reeves murder. And so they're like, yeah, you're not even on trial for that, dude. You're on trial for putting your own interests before humanity's, which is in violation of some, like,
Clause 6,
Clause 6 of the Humanity Charter or something?
I don't know about you guys. I feel like this charter's full of BS, because I'm like, wait, to what extent does that apply to only people in the military? Is that something you have to swear to when you get signed into the military, or is this for all citizens?
I think this is for all citizens, because that's the only way you survive when you have very large, nigh unstoppable predators at all of your doors. You go the good of the many and make it a law.
Yeah. still real ambiguous, though, in terms of, like, you know, putting your own needs before that of humanity. Well, it's like, well, you gotta eat. You gotta have shelter for yourself. You gotta take care of your family. Like, where's the line here, guys? And the answer is that line moves wherever they want it to.
Wherever it benefits them the most.
Exactly. And so they're like, you're in violation of this by keeping Eren Yeager to yourself, basically. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about these nobles for a second, because I don't know about you guys, but everything they said, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna kill Erwin. Like, they are absolutely in it for themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the entire time the king is just staring so stoically down at everyone. It's that exact same expression that he's been giving the entire series.
You made a comment when we were watching about him being a cardboard cutout, and I would not have been surprised, honestly. It just propped him up. He doesn't move.
Doesn't move, doesn't care.
Doesn't blink.
Doesn't say anything.
I mean, given what we saw later in the episode, I'm about 90% certain he just fell asleep with his eyes open.
For every episode he's been featured in,
Yeah.
he's basically in that same position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a not paying attention, don't care position. Body
I mean, truthfully, he's just there to look
Yeah,
like he's
to
in
look
charge.
kingly.
He's not actually giving any orders.
Well,
it's everyone else.
It's interesting because what we find out in this episode is we've known basically from the start of this season, you know, when they talked about Historia being the heir to the true royal family, we've known that this guy was a fraud. What we didn't know if it was whether or not it was for personal gain or not. And what we find out is that this handful of nobles, they basically put him up there as like a puppet. He's just there as a figurehead while they control everything and get all the benefits. Like, which is interesting because, like, again, you look at that stoic expression and you're like, he could be just a figurehead or he could very well be the mastermind behind all of this. And what we find out is that, yeah, he's absolutely just a figurehead, not even paying attention.
He's a senile old dude who is asleep with his eyes open.
Pretty much. So let's talk about Erwin's plan.
He's definitely got a Xanatos gambit going on here.
Yeah, I worry about Erwin being a gambling man because all of his gambles have paid off so far. And even this one ends up paying off. But, like, I'm like, your luck runs out eventually, my dude. Like,
We thought it ran out with the Titan scare. Like I said, if this was a different franchise, we would be watching appliances explode around him.
I feel like it's just going to hit you in a very unexpected way.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of this episode was unexpected because as we're going, we see his plan unfold. And so his plan is to go, hey, guys, I've always done my job in accordance to how I've thought it. You know, if any of the walls fall again, it's going to be civil war. And so it's very important that, like, taking Wall Rose back is the only way to keep humanity from imploding on itself. And Eren Yeager is the key to that. So, yeah. And their response is basically like, yeah, you say that, but, like, that's not how things actually work. And then they look to Pixis and they're like, hey, you're also on the front lines. What do you say about this? And he's like, yeah, I'm not siding with him. Which I think would have had a lot more suspense to it if we hadn't already seen him say, oh, yeah, I'll go along with your coup.
Yeah. But for me, that's dramatic irony for the audience. We know stuff that most of the people in that room don't. And then we just have that one guy who keeps looking at Erwin and looking at Pixis and knows and can't say anything and is just going, my family's out by the wall.
Was this Niall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm bad at names. It's fun.
There are a lot of characters to keep track of in this show.
They really are.
And they all have such weird names.
Flagel.
Flagel.
Flagel!
Flagel is the pinnacle of weird name for this show. It's really hard to get past that. That's like flagel. Oh, gesundheit.
But yeah, poor Niall. And that's, I think, is the emotional key in this entire sequence, is Niall is the one who's not completely in on whatever Erwin has planned. So his emotional journey is the important one. His emotional journey in this courtroom scene is what ends up mattering in the end. And so sure enough, when they come in with this false report about Titans have attacked Walsina, like, we gotta evacuate, and
They're back, guys.
and having the nobles go, yeah, no, close the gates. Yeah, no. That thing that the guy we're about to murder just said, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that civil war. And so Niall has to be the one to be like, hey, you're just gonna stand back and watch half of humanity get destroyed? And they're like, yeah, pretty much.
I'm very happy that Niall spoke up in that moment, just because I was thinking while all this was happening, they're basically going to execute Erwin and dismantle the scouts. They're going to be no more. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, obviously they wouldn't oppose the government, but if I was like in the garrison or in the military police, I would just be like, that makes me the one that has to go out and sacrifice my life to save everyone. And that's not, especially like the military police, that's not what they signed up for. They worked hard to make sure that that was not their fate. So, they're not going to oppose the government, but if I was sitting there, I would just be like, let's try and save them, because they're the ones that are, really saving all of us by risking their lives to do this.
I feel like the past month or so has just been a litany of not as planned for the military police. Let's be real. But yeah, just watching Niall speak up and being from a military family, you don't go against your CO. You get orders, and if you decide not to carry them out, it's a court-martial. And if they're amoral and you carry them out, it's also probably a court-martial. Like, when push comes to shove like this, there's no way to win. Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult being someone who answers to a commanding officer, having your commanding officer or the person at the top of the pole going, hey, do this thing. And you going, oh.
Well, it's even more frightening when it's not just your career on the line. I imagine when you get a court-martial, like jail time at worst. Depending on the offense. I'm not an expert in military law, but in this world, the one that we're inhabiting right now for this show, I mean, we're in the middle of a mock trial where Erwin is going to be sentenced to death. And no matter what, like, it's a farce that they're even there to begin with. And so Niall knows that going against orders in this moment not only will mean him being probably stripped of his rank in his career, but it will probably lead to him having a mock trial of his own not long down the line.
That's what I was going to say, is these people are ruthless. It's not like you go on trial, you get sent to prison. Like, they will choose the worst way to deal with you. I feel like, as we have seen.
They built a 3-story gallows for this guy. I mean, we built the structure. Why not use it?
I mean,
we invested the lumber. I mean, if we're going to be executing people for treason, we might as well just do them all up here. And, it's a waste to only use it one time. So
again, it's to the strength of the character of the ensemble cast. We saw it with Marlowe and Hitch in the last episode, and we're seeing it with Niall here. These bit players that we saw in season 1, like, I never thought that Reeves was going to come back in any capacity. I didn't think that Marlowe and Hitch were going to come back in any capacity. Didn't think that Niall mattered at all.
No. We're making fun of Flagel, but dude was an MVP this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
They mentioned that this only worked because of the decisions of a lot of individuals, and that's absolutely true.
That's how change happens, guys. Mm-hmm. That's how change happens. Stares at camera and winks. Make your voice heard. This is a midterm election year. Anyway, talking about this, though, before Erwin's plan gets fully unraveled, I just want to take a moment to admire this man's smile. Erwin is so serious and so stoic for most of the series that just that brief moment when they've sentenced him to death and he's standing up for immediate execution, and you see that little grin before the rest of his all the dominoes start to fall.
Just according to Keikaku.
say that it made my heart sing ever so
yeah.
slightly.
The sight of a real person with emotion. Finally.
Wow.
A little bit. I mean, he's so cold and calculating most of the time, but just to see that little grin of like victory.
The happiest of eyebrows.
We know he has a really good heart, but seeing it on his face makes a difference.
Yeah, because he not only, obviously he had a very tragic backstory with his father and everything like that, but then, he also rose through the ranks in the Scout Regiment, which has the highest mortality rate ever.
So, I feel like he's one of those people that just survives out of sheer spite. Most of your friends are going to die. That's great. I won't.
That's
basically how he's been living.
Yep.
I'll show you, world. So just this brief moment of joy was just, it made me very, very happy. But yeah, okay, so the rest of the plan. So they come in with this false report about Titans. Niall calls them out on their BS, and that's when the cavalry comes in. And it turns out Pixis is like, yeah, I said I wasn't going to side with him. Doesn't mean I'm siding with you guys. Oh, sorry.
Excuse you, I do what I want.
You are all now in violation of, what was that, Clause 6?
Of the Humanity Charter, yeah.
That thing that Erwin was on trial for. Sorry, guys, you're the selfish ones. And that's when one of the nobles kicks the king, tells him to wake up. And yeah, he's not even paying attention. Like, this, it was so surprising. I was sort of expecting a cardboard cutout to just sort of fall over in this moment.
Where do you get cardboard in a world like this?
I don't know. Maybe it would have been plywood. Yeah, there we go.
I have to be honest, too. At this moment, I was a little surprised that it happened because I didn't think that the plan was going to kick into effect at this exact moment. But when they kind of were like, oh, yeah, the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan are back, I was like,
how, though?
Yeah, what? This would be a bigger deal. So something's up.
I have questions.
But that's not to say that this little council of idiots knows everything there is to know about them.
Oh, they don't
know that they retreated. Yeah. They don't know that they have no idea.
Yeah. I'm with you, Veronica, though. I was sort of expecting him to get carted away, and that if we were going to get a full-on plan to rescue him, it would have been like a Pirates of the Caribbean style rescue.
And he's like hanging on the sword.
Someone with ODM gear just sweeps in to save him at the last possible moment. Like, how... Okay, now now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I would have paid good money to watch that action sequence.
Well, but in terms of characters that only showed up in the first season that you weren't expecting to see again, that Judge, though.
Yeah! I was not expecting to ever see Darius ever again. But sure enough, he arrived not only to stand with Erwin and Pixis, but he did it to spite them.
Oh, that scene with Erwin where he's just like, yeah, I would have done it at some point. I was just like,
I'm really glad you beat me to it, because I would have tried it at some point before I kicked the bucket.
I was legit trying to figure out if that was just because that was so different from everything we've seen from him. Admittedly, everything we've seen from him is not a lot. I was trying to figure out if that was him, like, putting on an act for Erwin and trying to get, like, the real reason he did it. How do you really feel about this? Or if that was just, like, are we alone?
Well, this is the interesting bit, because arguably, you could argue that what they are doing is what's best for humanity. On the other hand, when they're alone and when the announcement's made and the word is out and Erwin and him step into this carriage together, it's just a one-on-one conversation of like, yeah, humanity is important and everything, but Erwin's like, I have a dream, and like I wanted to live to see that dream come to fruition. And Darius is like, yeah, I did it to spite these guys because I've never liked them. Humanity be damned. And so it's like, are there selfish intentions? Does that make what they've done more wrong than right?
I think it makes them both more human. Because you look at these people like, Erwin is the commander of the Scout Corps, and we have this judge. I mean, like, you look at them as titles, And having this moment between the two of them where Erwin is, yeah, I have a dream, and also a survival instinct.
I super didn't want to die.
And Darius, yeah, I would have done this anyway. I'm so sick of dealing with those guys. Like, it humanizes them quite a bit for the audience, because we're so used to seeing them in those roles that, like, oh yeah, no, these are people. These are people with all the same vices and fears and everything that the rest of us have. They're not these paragons of justice or whatever. They're people doing their best.
Veronica?
No, I think Katie said it best, and that it definitely does humanize them, although I was very happy when he was just like, yeah, I did it in spite, because the entire time leading up to it, like I said, I didn't expect the plan to come in at this moment, so when they were kind of like, yeah, close off the walls, doesn't matter about everyone else, we don't need any civil war going on, I was just so frustrated, because I'm like, oh, like, we as an audience clearly see the wrong, but no one else is. And so the fact that they got taken down then, and then this guy was like, yeah, at some point, whether it happened now or later, I was going to do it. I was like, yes.
It's nice to think that our group of heroes aren't the only people that are fed up with how corrupt the entire system is. So yeah, it's nice to see somebody else chiming in and being like, yeah, I'm not about that life.
Well, and I feel like the more you work with this system, the more you realize how hecked up it is.
Yeah.
So, the normal citizenry are just like, well, this is how we live, and we can try to do things, but it's not going to get much better. So I'd be interested to see how that news breaking shakes things up, because this is presumably a not terribly educated populace getting some education.
Well,
Yeah.
they even made that comment of, like, how are the townspeople going to take to, like, a new leader? Because I think we talked about this previously. These people have been used to the system for years. And the fact that, okay, here's a change. We're going to find a new leader. And they have no idea what's going on at all. It's like, how quick will they be to accept that, if at all?
Yeah. And then, well, they made it clear to the press, like, we don't want to instate military rule. We're putting the right king back on the throne. Whether or not people choose to trust that is another matter entirely. But saying, hey, no, we're trying to put the right king on the throne, it's been a false king all along, as opposed to, yeah, we're in charge now, will,
Yeah.
I think, help with public opinion.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I found it interesting how, and we saw this last episode with the press as well, how the press were weary about printing the truth about this story, especially after last week, that they were so close to the internal military police that they were like, yeah, don't talk about this, don't talk about this. Yeah, we got your back.
This rookie doesn't know how we do things around here. I don't know why I've made this press guy a mobster.
And now Flagel's like, print the truth, print the truth.
Flagel, what an MVP.
Again, MVP for this episode. Way to go, Flagel. Let's go ahead and take a quick moment to talk about iTunes. Folks, thank you so much to everybody who's gone to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you. It is the best way to let our producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on. As we mentioned, in the last couple of weeks, all of our previous iTunes comments somehow got wiped off the server. So it really means a lot for you guys going back in and leaving comments, especially, and we love giving you guys a shout out too, especially this particular comment from Spencer Forager. Or Frogger, sorry. Lovely ladies screaming. Yay! I still remember the last season when that one user wrote a bad review for y'all about how y'all are just a group of crazy ladies yelling and they hated it. Well, they were mostly right, but I love it. I've been a long-time listener. Please keep up the great work. This is the best audio companion to the show that is out there. Thank you so, so much, Spencer. We really appreciate that. So yeah, guys, go to iTunes, leave a comment, and we will definitely give you a shout-out on the show. It means a lot to us, so thank you so much. And Katie has another announcement about that aforementioned giveaway.
Well, for one, I'm glad you enjoy our screaming. Thank you. Yeah. Our friends at Verve have provided us with a giveaway for the show. We have 3 codes for 1 month of premium Verve for a premium Verve subscription. So, to give you a little bit more about Verve, Verve is a leading audience-focused aggregation platform featuring premium SVOD channels including Crunchyroll, Funimation, Drama Fever, Rooster Teeth, and Shudder, alongside a curated house channel, Verve Select. Curated to provide fans with a next-gen entertainment experience, Verve offers immersive content experiences in a digitally driven environment via bundled subscription, a la carte subscription, or ad-supported options. As a platform, Verve helps partners extend their reach and distribute their premium content through a high-quality branded experience on mobile, web, and popular living room devices. There we go. That's the word. Basically, all the stuff that you love to watch in one place under one subscription, and we're giving away a month of premium subscription to 3 of our listeners. So, this is going to be a Twitter, not a contest, but a Twitter giveaway. We need you to use the hashtags Verve, so hashtag VRV, hashtag WatchVerve, tag @WatchVerve, and the hashtag ABTV Titan giveaway. Specifically ABTV Titan giveaway, because that's the one we'll be using to find these entries. And we want to know what the first show that you'd watch with a Verve premium subscription would be. For me, they've got Freakazoid.
Yep.
That 110%, I would be right there.
Anything on Shudder for me, because you guys know me, I love my horror movies, but also a lot of Verve acquired a lot of the things when CISO went under, so I would totally watch the Mabim Bam television series as well. I love me my McElroys. Veronica?
The McElroy.
I know there's a lot to choose from.
There's I'm just gonna say probably like some of the newest summer stuff. So like Angels of Death, Free, Dive to the Future.
Ooh,
I need my boys, my swim boys back in my life.
Aren't we getting Overlord season 3?
We are getting Overlord season 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The summer
And
of 2018 is
My
big.
Hero Academia. We're in the middle of season 3 there.
So
yeah, if you would like a code for a month of Verve premium subscription, again, go on Twitter, tag @WatchVerve, use hashtags Verve, WatchVerve, and ABTV Titan giveaway, and tell us the first show you would watch with a Verve premium subscription. We will be randomly picking 3 winners that use all of those hashtags and tag WatchVerve. You got to follow the rules, and we will be announcing them during next week's show.
Yep. So, guys, best of luck for the giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this episode. We get a victory for the Scouts!
Woo! Again!
Again, another thing that, just
How
made
long will it last?
It won't. Just in terms of, again, things in this episode that make my heart sing, Hanji showing up with the actual newspaper exonerating all of the Scouts and just seeing the joy on everyone's faces.
I'm tied between Connie's backwards leap kick and Sasha wrapping her forearm around Mikasa's head. With glee. Just that celebration freeze frame. It was beautiful. I need that as my desktop wallpaper.
I loved the first part of it, which is all of them gathering around Levi to look at the paper. All of them looking normal except Sasha, who's got a weird side face thing going on. And then
she's sort of afraid to look at it.
I would be.
Must learn to read.
It's like that nerve of what does it say? I want it to be something good, but what does it say? I can't read it because it's about us. Could be bad. But then it's all good.
It's show it to me. No, don't.
They have a wonderful little celebration. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Again, victories are so few and far between for these poor kids. So it's just so nice to see them just overjoyed with an unambiguous win. But something else we find out, again, Hanji's doing her homework, doing her due diligence, basically has the whole story of the Reese royal family lined out for us. And this is where, again, knowing what we now know about the sort of royal council of nobles, they were waiting for Reese to come back with Erwin and Historia. Now, knowing that what we now know about Reese and his family that we find out in this episode, I'm sitting here going did they have a figurehead monarch to protect the royal family all this time? Has Reese been in on all this stuff?
Well, no, we saw him meeting with them. He's known.
No, that's the thing, is I've been under the impression all this time that they've been strong-arming him and his
Probably.
entire family. Like, why else have a figurehead? But that was when I was also under the impression that the figurehead king, the false king, had actual power or had actual clout. Not that he was just, some senile old person that they put on there just for show.
He looks good. He cuts a majestic figure.
I mean, he does have a
he
pretty
doesn't
stellar
tell us
goatee.
no.
I mean, I would love that job.
Just sit there and wait for people to give you food.
God, I'd be so bored.
I think you'd enjoy it for like a week and then
then
you'd
get
go
bored of it,
crazy. But yeah, it kind of sounds a little bit like Reese might have been a little bit more complicit in all this because the false king might have been a way to protect the royal family instead.
Who even knows?
I don't know. See, I had a completely kind of sort of different theory.
Go for it.
So yeah, no, when Hanji basically goes into this whole backstory and talks about this chapel that the Reese family would go to, and then she talks about the bandits basically
Wrecking the place
wrecking
and
the-
murdering the fam.
yeah, wrecking the place and murdering it. She brings up the good point that it was stone, it would have taken a lot more than what actually happened for this place to go down. And so I was like, he's the sole survivor. Did he have something to do with it?
Yeah, because
See, I have a full-on theory, but that's, I think once we cover everything else we saw, then I want to talk about it.
So yeah, what Hanji does is she lays out the story. He had legitimate children, which is why it was important for Historia to be moved off to the side. One of them was a young lady who we've been seeing in the opening and in the ending, and she was apparently loved by all. I don't think they dropped her name. I would have to watch it
I
again.
don't remember. I don't know.
But long story short,
Chat, let us know if they dropped her name.
This is Historia's half sister, and while the night the wall was attacked, his entire family, his entire legitimate family, was in this chapel, and bandits, quote unquote, burned down the place. And yes, Lord Reese was the sole survivor, and he had to go and seek out Historia after that point, which explains why he sought her out now after all this time.
Chat says her name is Frida.
Frida.
Thank you.
Did they drop that in this episode? Okay.
I'm assuming so because 3 different people are saying it, and I
Okay.
think multiple people are saying it, and I think some of them are as unspoiled for the manga as we are. And if it
Fingers
was manga
crossed.
spoilers, they wouldn't have told us.
Because they're good chat listeners. We
Yes.
appreciate that. Okay, so Frida. So yeah, there's this young lady, and Aaron seems to see her in a vision that he has. What I'm wondering, and Katie, feel free to share your theory, but I'm wondering if maybe Lord Reese is a Titan, and he accidentally shifted and killed his family.
What I'm wondering is, because the other big piece of this is Aaron is the coordinate. And we know that. And we know that that is a power that has fallen out of whoever's pulling the strings, fallen out of their control. Like, why does Aaron have it? Oh, my God. We also know that you can get someone else's power. You can get a Titan shifter's powers by eating them, which is hecked up, but okay.
Super dark.
And then our nice little interstitial that we have was about that little crystalline palace place underneath the chapel where it says the royal family's consolidated power is passed on. And so for me, what this means, my fun little we have most of the pieces in place theory, is that the coordinate is the royal family's power, which would explain how they controlled Titans to stand in all the right places so we can build the walls around them, which would explain why there were never any Titans inside the walls until we had those specific attacks, why they've lived in peace for 100 years. And we know that this society knows how to turn people into Titans. We saw that with Emir's backstory, and more recently we saw that with poor Connie's entire village. So we know that that is a thing that they can do. And at the end of this, we see Aaron chained up in this nice little crystal place, like can't move, can't speak, can't anything. So my thought is they planned on passing down the coordinate. And maybe it did go to the person that it was supposed to. I'm assuming that it was supposed to go to Frida. And then something happened, something with Aaron's dad, there was an accident, whatever. I do think the initial Titan shift was what was what broke the building and killed everyone except for Lord Reese. And I think that somehow in that fun little flashback where we don't actually know what happened and neither does Aaron, somehow Aaron got turned into a Titan, thanks Dad, and ate Frida. Or ate whoever the coordinate was at the time, which is how he got shifter powers and also got the coordinate power. So it has fallen out of the control of the royal family, and now they want it back, which makes me think that they're about to make Historia a Titan and have her eat Aaron.
Oh, no! My queen, no!
So that is my theory about the past and my prediction as to what's going to happen going forwards, or at least what the intention is.
I had that exact same theory, too, when Historia walked up, was that is she going to be the so-called Titan that's going to eat Aaron to become the coordinate? I didn't put together, like you did, Katie, that maybe she could be turned into one. But I definitely think it has something to do with Aaron's father. Perhaps it has something to do with he was working with the Reese family, and he's the one like, you want to know what? I want this for my own selfish gains. I'm going to do something to change my son. And that's how it happened.
Yeah, and it happened the night that the wall fell. So that makes me think that that was when they were supposed to pass on the coordinate and something went wrong. Or something went wrong after the wall fell, and that was that whole half-remembered flashback with Aaron.
Not mistaken, this whole crystal chamber, which, again, BTW looks like the crystal that Annie is able to produce with her Titan power.
And the interstitial theorized that it might have been made by Titans or have to do with it.
And this structure is right underneath that chapel, I believe is what they said, right?
I think so.
Yep. Which is why Lord Reese would have used so much of his money to rebuild that chapel.
As soon as possible.
Because
keep
it's
that
important.
secret hidden.
Yep.
I think power was the biggest key word in that interstitial because it made them go from just the average royal family to some type of being with very dark secret. The power keyword is what really...
Yep.
Well, I think, again, that sort of ties into some of our predictions, because it looks like we're seeing Dad next week. I thought it was Dad.
Hey, you reprobate. What you been up to?
Father of the Year. I think, so yeah.
We've got some great parents in this show, guys. I'm just saying.
Between him...
we actually have had some good parents in this show. He ain't one of them.
No.
He is not one of them.
Not even remotely.
We have in chat, people die when they are eaten. Like, people die when they are killed, but that's
I
more...
understood that reference.
Thank you, donate. Yeah, I got that. It's pretty dang good.
The only other thing I want to say is I think that this still doesn't remove the threat of Kenny. I think Kenny's, because the council has been removed, and that was super easy, hit the that was easy button. I think that...
That was murder.
I think that Kenny's actually working for Lord Reese, and I think that we're still going to have a showdown between him and Levi in this chamber, because there was promotional material sort of featuring that. So
I think Kenny is off his leash entirely. He and his squad have been fully equipped. He's a serial killer, and if the people yanking his chain are gone, he is a fully equipped serial killer out in the world with a squad.
Initially, I had that first thought of like, maybe they're gonna give Aaron to Kenny, and then I was like, they're not crazy enough for that.
Oh yeah, no.
all right.
No.
Well, I think that just about does it for us this week. Katie, where can people go if they want to follow you?
You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I basically live on the animation channel Voltron on Mondays at 7, and oh my god, Rooster Teeth on Wednesdays at 7. Remember to enter the giveaway from our friends at Verve.
Veronica?
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at itsmeveronica_V. You can also catch me on the Outpost After Show Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Time, as well as the Castle Rock After Show Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Be sure to follow our friend Alexis Torres at atorres890 on Twitter and Instagram, all that fun stuff. And I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @themenguin. That's TheMenguin. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you all next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Coup d'etat!
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.